whose family was Scottish. They went to England and he changed names and all sorts of things. But Ewan MacColl sticks down through the years. And MacColl and Seeger included the song in their repertoire, performing in folk clubs around the British Isles.
The other day, and Big Boss Bowman came down and was like, I'd rather you wouldn't.
Well, thank you, yes.
Yeah, but drive time. Do you know some Channel 4 and things, like at this time at night?
I dread to think.
Like Keith Allen off his head and stuff. It's like mad stuff goes down on other channels at night. But anyway, I tweeted a little picture of Matt Fincham saying gold medal winner at the Penis Head Olympics. And exciting, or did you just do pre-promo rest?
What, today or on the holiday?
No, on the holiday.
On the holiday, I did do, well, it was a full moon while I was away.
Okay.
And we went for a nude midnight swim in the lake.
You and Tina Skinner?
Yeah, me and Tina. We were just talking about nude pictures and photographs and things.
Really? Why?
Well, they might try and reenact the album cover at EMI. We're asking Tina if she can find.
It's a joy. Now, Mark Haynes is a writer. Mark Haynes is a writer, and he's embedded in the Olympics. He's across all 24 channels. And what he's been doing for Zoe and I on this temporary late-night Olympics program that we're doing is he's been trying to find stories that have not been reported on BBC One or on Radio 5 Live. Mark Haynes, good evening.
Good evening, Richard. Good evening, Zoe.
Good evening. I like the way I get a slightly deeper good evening.
I was trying to impress you.
You're trying to, don't try to impress me. Actually, no, it's another story. How are you this evening? What have you been up to today?
Yeah, very good. Do you know what I was watching today, which I absolutely loved? Rich, you were talking about the handball. I did have a quick look at Wikipedia to see some of the rules of handball, and it's the longest entry you've ever seen in your life. It is so confusing. Today, I was watching something that was much simpler, which was the BMX racing.
Oh, we love it.
It's amazing. They look like slinkies. They're sort of, the way they move.
Yvonne. But yeah, he was really lovely. It was quite an intense day, obviously. I had to carry him for 5 hours.
Why?
Because we didn't want to do it all in Canada.
You don't have to carry him there. Like Jesus with that cross.
Just putting him up and down.
Oh, okay, yeah. You didn't pick him up, like, around Manhattan and then walk across to the studio. Up on Yvonne. So he was on your back all day, then?
Yeah. It was just, it was quite a physical feat.
Yeah.
He's like a bit heavier than me, so it's basically carrying my body weight.
Yeah.
But all the jokes aside, we just wanted to do something really raw and not Photoshop.
Were killed in the camp. Satko Mujagic was concerned that when Mittal Steel reopened the mine in 2004, the terrible history of the place would all be forgotten. He wants it preserved as a memorial.
I mean, Mittal promised the memorial in 2005, so we are now 6 years later, so Mr. Lakshmi Mittal could think about to do something else than dig iron, make steel. They could make something good for these people, for this country, and he could get the Nobel Prize for peace if he was a smart man.
But ArcelorMittal says that the memorial can only be erected if everyone agrees to it, and the local Serb mayor doesn't. He denies that Omarska was a concentration camp and doesn't want a memorial. And as the area lies in the part of Bosnia that is under Bosnian Serb control, the Republic of Srpska
infinity, invoking the long, long history of Wiltshire. But she ended with a chapter on the conditional tense, which she acknowledged as the tense in which modern life was lived. Cecil Beaton was living in the conditional tense too. He travelled a great deal as an official photographer in the desert, in America, and in the Far East. But he seemed to actually forget that Michigan. The old flower rivers were now, he said. He sent a bunch of mistletoe to Edith at Wilson. It was the last bit of Arcadia. His tanks moved forward on the 18th of July, and as Whistler ran from one to the other to give assistance, he came under fire. A shell exploded just beside him, and the camp would move on. But it was worth the effort. There was a Holbein and a Titian, and of course there was a glowing landscape with a nymphs and tambourines. The soldiers adored it. Whistler's battalion moved down to the coast in advance of D-Day and waited at Brighton. He made the crossing on the 29th of June, and there followed another 2 weeks of waiting before his squadron was called into action. Even during this tense time, he had the heart.
Here it's our post-Olympics party. We have Monday to Friday, both weeks. It's our second week. Just 2 shows left after this, and then we're out of here again.
I'm going to miss this. Today I had a little moment where I thought I might even miss Richard Bacon. I know, it's all right. I'll get over it. I'll get over it. I know, suddenly I remembered that, yes, I probably wouldn't.
You know, our texter tonight, it's because things have kind of been on a bit of a downer. It's an ironic downer, but we won no medals of any sort today. Not even a sniff of a bronze, nothing. We're asking for films that stand for pessimism. So I think the best was you take a film and you turn it into a kind of relating to pessimism. We had Apocalypse Sooner, Finding Nemo's a waste of time because he's probably dead. Might be our best one so far. So you texted, you don't get a prize. At the BBC, we're not really allowed to give out prizes anymore, but you have our respect. We'll pick a favourite. That's how you win. So take part, come up with a film that a fan of pessimism would like. Our text number is 88291. Now, Great Britain's Laura Trott has become the Team GB darling.
Been abridged by Eileen Horn, produced by Clive Brill, and is a Pacificus production for BBC Radio 4. BBC News at 11 o'clock. The Chancellor George Osborne insists the government will devote its undivided attention to creating economic growth, following a prediction from the Bank of England that the economy will stagnate this year. 3 months ago, the bank forecast growth of 0.8%. David Blanchflower is a former member of the Bank of England's Monetary Policy Committee. He says the situation could be even more dire.
This is something like the 12th in 12 reports where the Bank of England has been too optimistic, had to lower its growth forecast, and most observers, including me, think actually that the forecast they've already produced today is out of date and too optimistic again.
Police search